We live in an age full of conspiracy theories, thanks to social media giving us an outlet to express all of our weird thoughts, and in some cases have thousands of people respond to those thoughts. It's hard to separate conspiracy from fact, from fiction, from news, and even the real world. No one quite knows what's real anymore, especially when we live in a time where things are so quickly dubbed fake news. However, no matter what, one thing has always remained the same: our fascination with celebrity, and combine that with conspiracy theories and you have some truly wild stories floating around the internet. So today on Top 10 Beyond the Screen, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 10 celebrity theories you won't believe. Before we begin, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. Let's jump in. Coming in at 10, Tupac is alive. Back in 2016, the internet was abuzz when rumors began to spread that Tupac Shakur had been spotted alive and well in Cuba. The rapper was of course gunned down in his car in Las Vegas on September 7th, 1996, and would be around 47 years old today. The article states that, I quote, "Tupac Shakur, who was supposedly killed at the age of 25, is now admitting he has been hiding this whole time." But Shakur, who in 1996 was reportedly attending a special event in Las Vegas, the Mike Tyson-Benson fight, and then afterwards was brutally murdered. A day or so later, he is autopsied, then quickly cremated. There is no funeral, nor is there any record of a tribute or memorial. Now we know exactly why it was, because Tupac was never killed. There are a ton of convincing pictures of the rapper, from attending basketball games, relaxing at a resort in New Zealand, to chilling in Cuba. There are so many pictures, yeah, like a lot of theories online I'm calling BS. Is quite believable. Coming in at 9, the CIA murdered Bob Marley. Now this is an older theory that came back to life back in 2018 when rappers T.I. and Busta Rhymes shared the conspiracy on Instagram that claims Bob Marley was killed by the CIA. The post stated, I quote, "Bob Marley was murdered by CIA, admits ex-officer on deathbed." Bill Oxley, speaking from his deathbed, claimed that he had murdered Marley along with 17 other assassinations for the American government. Supposedly this happened because Marley and other reggae musicians were working to alert the public of the CIA's attempt to bring down Jamaican Prime Minister Michael Manley. Coming in at 8, Beyonce is Solange's mother. Now this theory is absolutely insane, but I'm living for it completely. There's a conspiracy theory online that Beyonce is actually the mother, not the sister, of Solange Knowles. Yeah, that's right. Beyonce, who is 38, is apparently the mother of a 33-year-old sister. Now this claim surfaced after a bizarre message was posted online stating, I quote, "Beyonce's cousin told me Beyonce's daughter is Solange, and she said it to me in confidence after the topic of teenage pregnancies came up. She's not the sarcastic type either, so I doubt she would make something up that's so scandalous about her own cousin. She even scoffed that is why Beyonce has always had those childbearing hips. Mark my words, one day the truth will be told. Solange is 22 and Beyonce is 36, that is a 14-year age difference." Yep, it's absolutely crazy, right? Well, it gets stranger. Some folks believe Beyonce was actually born in 1974 instead of 81, and that her family faked her birth certificate in order to cover up her early pregnancy. Coming in at 7, Avril Lavigne was replaced. Ever since the world was cursed with social media, folks have been sat at their computers theorizing about all the useless things in life. I mean, you can literally put questions into the void and people will answer, but not just one. No, a lot of people. Back in 2017, this was the case when people on Twitter scrambled to figure out if Avril Lavigne was killed and replaced by an imposter in 2003, specifically Melissa Vandella, who has apparently been living Avril's life for 16 years. Now, folks took to Twitter to post their evidence, beginning with one user who stated, "Avril always wore pants on red carpets. The dresses started late 2003. Melissa loves the attention, but Avril clearly doesn't." Another user stated, "Okay, so I was looking at these and the corners of their eyes are shaped differently, and now I'm geeking out. Honestly though, it depends on what picture you're looking at. I certainly look a lot different now than I did 14 years ago. Also, folks, eyeliner changes the shape of your eyes. Just saying." Coming in at number 6, Lorde is actually 40. This theory was completely new to me, but honestly, I buy it. A little bit anyway. Lorde is 22 years old, but shot to fame when she was just 16 and surprised listeners with her emotionally intelligent lyrics and grammar. Now some folks out there believe this is because Lorde is actually in her 40s. She faked her age to sell herself as a young musical prodigy. However, the case was close to being settled when the singer's birth certificate was leaked, which showed Lorde's date of birth as November 7th, 1996. However, many quickly piped up, stating that the certificate was doctored, but of course there is no definitive proof. However, one person took it upon themselves to do something a little different. They used the novelty website howold.net to solve the problem with the app, for the most part guessing that the singer was in her 40s. What do you guys think though? That app told me I looked 27, which I am, but we all know I look 12. In at 5, Steve Jobs 2.0. Now this theory is perhaps one of the most popular on our list, and for some strange reason one of the most believable. As most of us know, on October 5th, 2011, Steve Jobs passed away from pancreatic cancer. However, 7 years later in 2018, someone on Reddit posted an image of a man in Egypt who looks almost identical to the Apple creator. Like they could honestly be twins. The caption read, "Steve Jobs hiding in Egypt after faking his death," bold claim. After the picture was posted, hundreds of people hopped online claiming that the person wasn't merely a doppelganger, but was in fact the real Steve Jobs himself. More interesting still, Jobs was known for placing his hand on his chin while deep in thought. And guess what? The man in the image was doing the exact same thing. Now some people were quick to debunk the theory, spotting that the man in the picture wasn't wearing an Apple Watch, which if you were the head of a global technology corporation, you would likely be wearing, but I think that's bull. I like Apple, I don't wear their watches. Coming in at 4, Stevie Wonder isn't actually blind. Yet this theory is exactly how it sounds. There are folks out there who believe that the legendary blind singer Stevie Wonder isn't actually blind, and that he's just been pretending for the last 6 decades. It's absurd, yes, but there are people out there who claim to have proof to support the theory. For example, he frequently attends basketball games. Why would you do that if you can't see? He once caught a falling mic stand. I've seen the video, it's pretty impressive. He is interested in photography and once took a photo, as well as other things that are reserved for people who can see. What do you guys think though? I'm still calling BS, I just think he's like Daredevil, superhuman abilities. Coming in at 3, Britney Spears worked with the government. The George Bush era was the heyday for wild and somewhat absurd conspiracy theories, from 9/11 being an inside job to FEMA coffins at Katrina. No one quite trusted Bush, and the rise of the 24-hour news cycles didn't help matters. However, the most baffling theory actually involved Britney Spears. Over the last few years, theorists seem to gather together and come up with a conspiracy theory to end all theories, that Britney Spears was on the Bush payroll as a professional thirst trap. Okay, hear me out. Whenever a state crisis was occurring, the government wanted to cover it up and hide it away from the American people as fast as possible. Enter Britney, who would have a conveniently timed meltdown, placing her on the front page of every paper and at the top of the CNN's news crawl, resulting in people turning their attention away from the Bush's newest blunder. Now it sounds wild, right? Well, I have proof to support the claim. On November 6, 2006, the day before a midterm election in which Republicans could potentially lose 33 Senate seats and 435 House seats, Britney announced her split from Kevin Federline. In February 2007, Bush announced the reformation of Al-Qaeda. That same night, Britney snuck out of rehab, shaved her head, and attacked the paparazzi. No matter the government crisis, there was always a Britney headline to cover it up. Crazy, right? I believe it. Coming in at number 2, Katy JonBenet Perry. On the night of Christmas 1996, JonBenet Ramsey, a child beauty pageant winner, was killed in her family home in Colorado. She was only 6 years old at the time. A ransom note was found first before her father found her body in the basement 8 hours after they had reported her missing. The murder still remains unsolved to this day. However, theorists have a different idea of what went down. According to some, JonBenet was not killed but instead was kidnapped. Her parents staged her death and she later resurfaced as Katy Perry in 2008 with the hit song I Kissed a Girl. Now their evidence includes the resemblance of Katy Perry and JonBenet, as well as the resemblance of both their sets of parents. Now this theory is of course fake, with no real evidence supporting it, and if you were to do a quick Google search you would discover that Katy Perry would have been 12 when JonBenet was murdered. Not only that, but Katy Perry was born Katy Hudson and released a Christian pop album back in 2001 at the age of 17. And finally, coming in at number 1, Paul McCartney is dead. Paul is Dead is an urban legend and conspiracy theory alleging that Paul McCartney from the Beatles died in November 1966 and was secretly replaced by a lookalike. Now this isn't a recent rumor, surprisingly. No, this began all the way back in 1969 when a rumor began to spread across college campuses in the the US, based on perceived clues found in the Beatles' songs and album covers. Specifically, the Abbey Road album cover, which shows the 4 band members walking across Abbey Road, however, Paul is barefoot. Not only that, but the order that the 4 Beatles were arranged was also deemed significant. John Lennon, bearded and dressed in white, represented Jesus. Ringo Starr in a somber black suit was the Undertaker. George Harrison's jeans and denim shirt made him the Gravedigger. However, McCartney dismissed the clues. Of course he did. He's an imposter. He stated, I quote, "We were wearing ordinary clothes. I was barefoot because it was a hot day. The Volkswagen just happened to be there." Now, proponents of the theory maintained that after Paul's supposed death, and to spare the public from grief, the surviving Beatles replaced him with the winner of a McCartney look-alike contest. Dozens of supposed clues to his death have been identified by fans and followers of the legend, with some even claiming to hear the words "I buried Paul" spoken by Lennon in the final section of the song Strawberry Fields Forever. However, Lennon later went on to say that the words were cranberry sauce, which in my opinion is even weirder. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any celebrity theories that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do part 2. Before we go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, top 10 Marvel actors who had to get ripped for their role. Linda R said Chris Pratt not only shed pounds, but his wife as well. Nice. Oof. That's straight savagery. I felt that. Respect. Michelle Carter said, spend the whole video trying to figure out Lucy's shirt. It's upside down. You'll never know. It's American flag upside down, but Americans don't seem to like that. Apparently it's offensive. So we won't talk about that. Adrian Guzman said, where's Jocelyn at? She's in LA, living that vacation life. You're stuck with me. Deal with it. I'm always here. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Beyond the Screen vid. And until next time, see you later.